Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. Here we are, another Hilux, 2009. Oh, what do we got? Hey, this guy's been watching, he's been pretty deep watching videos. He's a little bit behind though, because beer season over summer we sort of swung from the Great Northerns to the Coronas. So all Great Northerns are good, it's all very appreciated. Definitely the Heineken's. Heineken's always a winner because the assistant who does all the work anyway, you know, or what we call work. I do all the easy stuff. He does all the hard stuff. So there's definitely got to be a lot of green boxes. And, you know, because everybody knows we're good, we're not cheap, we're not expensive, we're good value, we're cheaper than a lot of the places that don't even do the work. But this really shows he is, and when he dropped off the vehicle, he didn't say anything about it. It's just sitting there. But I think, you know, we can make some assumptions now. I'm not assuming he actually sent me a text a little while afterwards saying those three things on the seat. Now, I haven't received a block of chocolate before, but that I must have mentioned in a video somewhere. Yeah, everybody loves chocolate anyway, don't they? But yep, the Great Northerns and the chocolate and the Heineken's, awesome package. Just an update for everybody though. The current package is chocolate anytime you like. Heineken's definitely. The gin. There's the Suntory, the Japanese. What's it called? Roku. Yeah, that's it. The gin and the, you know, the Nexpa with orange and whatever, so we can make a mix. You can bring the limes in if it's cold. We'll actually have one when you pick up your vehicle. Anyway, let's have a look into this vehicle. Give you a bit of information first. How many Ks is this done again? Oh, 280k. It's an 09, but it's the injectors from before they changed, if you know what I mean, you know, before, because they changed in September 09. Yeah, so it's a June 2009. We've been at it a while already. Did the usual EGR clean, inspected the manifold, not too bad. So it's had a bit of a clean up as far as we can reach, which there wasn't that much there, not too bad at all. The value for money, as we do on our own vehicle. Now, we did notice a bit of oil. See the oil down the back of the, on the head, the side of the head and at the back there. So we'll be giving the valve cover a really good inspection. It has been cleaned, it's drying at the moment, and we'll give it a really good inspection, and because these gaskets don't leak. But that being said, it has got the original injectors in it, once again, manufactured in 2008, so about a year older than the vehicle. It's now 2022, so 14-year-old injectors. You know, it was still running all right, you know what I mean? But obviously, very flogged injectors. What's surprising, the readings weren't catastrophic. Like the load was up, was it 17, 18 or something, wasn't it? Around about there, so out of specification. The injection volume was high as well, you know, around 10 sort of thing, so probably, you know, 40% more than it should be. The main injection period was up over 800, out of specification as the main one, and there was two feedback values. That one was about 2.5. Just checking the valve clearances here, mate. You can continue that while I waffle on, you know what I mean? Everyone says I'm waffling on. So the time to check the valve clearances, if you're new to these videos, check out our injector information playlist. If you're going to replace your injectors, I suggest you only get them off me, so you end up with brand new, fresh, genuine, like always. If you didn't know, parts day's Monday. But the time to check the valve clearances when you're replacing the injectors, the risk of contamination to the injectors from taking the pipes off is too great. We've been through all this before. Parts day's Monday, you know the deal, but not every Monday, so you need to really, if you're in we can only supply parts to everybody in Australia. If you need some help with that job, we've got the VIP group with all the information on how to do it right, or we can get you booked in here to the Prado Hospital, or recommend one of our workshop partners who can get the job. Perhaps there's not that many people we recommend, so a lot of people, have you got someone here, have you got someone there? There's just not that many people I'm going to put my name to, my reputation, if you know what I mean. There's a few people around, that's when I say, yeah, highly recommended, go to him. If I write there the best on one of our Facebook groups or pages, mate, I'm absolutely so confident I would take my car there, let them work on it. I can trust them. I don't, you know, the same people, you know, if you trust me, or I've got the same trust issues, so they're the people I would trust. Now, some areas we've got, well, this is the best guy we know of, but I'm not saying he's the best or he's 100% on the same page. I don't know him that well, whatever the case may be, but it's the best I know of. So if you've got no one, best we know of. Now, checking the valve clearances, we've got videos on that, using the ratchet and the, I've forgotten what size that is, because you always at 20, oh, I'm just joking, but yeah, I've forgotten what size it is, because you always do that now. 22, turn it over, mate. This guy's trained professionally. He's done hundreds of sets of injectors. Well, I don't know if it's 100 with an S on it, but over 100. Anyway, trained by the best, so he could be the second best. He could be the first best, actually. Injector replacement guru in the world. Anyway, so turning the crankshaft to turn the camshafts, to get in there and check the valve clearances. As we said before, on the exhaust side here, minimum's meant to be 0.35. You'll quite often see that, or you'll see 0.33, even a little bit under, like 0.33, 32, 31. We don't worry about it. We're not here to sell you a big remove the camshaft, timing belt, all this stuff off the front. Get camshafts out and sell you lifters, you know, because you just don't need it. Same as on the inlet, the minimum's meant to be 0.2. We see 0.19876, you know, about as low as once it gets under 0.15, we'd talk about it, but we'd probably still talk, don't worry about it, based on the previous information we've given and previous experience in previous videos. So go and check those out. If there's anything else exciting going on here, I'll come back to you with a bit of information.
Don't forget to charge him for these, yeah?
Oh, that's right, he got us the slab, he can have it for free. Okay, as you can see, we've got the new injectors in place and everything's all nicely aligned and talked to specification. What was about with these bolts, in case you missed it, see the little bolts right in the middle of the picture, the little return line bolts? We do a little upgrade in here in the workshop, and if you, when you order your injector kit, if you ask for those, if we have them in stock, we can supply. Adds about 44 bucks for the order, but often we can't get enough, so we've kind of got enough for the workshop most of the time. So the part number's in some other videos if you want to get those from your local dealer. It's important to check out this valve cover, because we note that oil that was down on the head at the back there. So, and you know these valve covers, they can be cracked. Now, quick note, we don't believe the valve cover's ever been off, so that's probably why the injectors last as long as they have. Not saying they were in spec or okay, but they were pretty good given they're nearly 300,000 Ks old, and these are the oldest injectors, so better late than never. But we don't believe the cover's been off. We've got a few points of evidence that say, you know, it hasn't been off before. That's probably why the injectors last so long, and that's possibly why there was a bit of oil. Now, there's a couple of reasons why there could have been a bit of oil. These seals on top we've just changed, right? These ones here, they go really hard, so they can sweat out from there. It possibly could have been that. The valve cover itself, the gasket under here, 15 years old, whatever, it had gone hard as well, so there's a possibility that could be the sweat. But we've given it a clean up, and it's really imperative that we have a good look around for cracks or oil leaks. Now, I can't see any cracks other than every now and then you see a little line, like, you know, like what's there, and it's hard to tell. Maybe there's some really fine, very fine hairline type cracks allowing it to sweat, so it's very difficult to, sometimes you can see the obvious cracks, but I'm here, you know, wiping it, you know, basically with these, we don't spend like hours cleaning them. It's like a 5-10 minute clean. The worse they are, you know, they're not as clean they'll be, sort of thing. You know, it's got to end somewhere. It's a lot cleaner than what it was, right? So it's a 99% clean sort of thing. But there was quite a bit of mess on there, so there's a bit of residue around it. I'm just analysing this anyway. It's very important, but what I'm trying to say is this one, we can't see any cracks on it, so we're going to reuse it. We're going to, because they're 350 bucks each, we don't want to replace it. And the other thing we can do is we can RTV. If you've got those little cracks like what happens here sometimes, you can put the RTV on there to cover it up. You know, a bit of a bodgy, some people would say, but it saves 350, and look where it is at the end of the day, down under the intercooler at the back of the engine. So at this stage we can't actually identify any hairline cracks or any issues there. So we'll get it back together. It should be fine. It'll get more of a wash up once it's back on the vehicle, more degreaser and pressure washing and whatever, that sort of thing. And if there's any traces of any oil or sweating around here, then there's a possibility that it needs to be looked at later. We could possibly find, or the client has a look himself, for example, could find some cracks around anywhere around here, you never know. And it'll be just the slowest little weep. It's just annoying, it's just messy. You're not going to use oil. It's not going to be a measurable amount of oil, so it's not really an oil leak, it's more of a weep that's untidy. But then what you could do, again, you know, dodgy, RTV, a little bit of thin RTV, you know, nice and clean. It's got to be clean, dry, and RTV over the crack. Let it dry for a couple of hours at least. The stuff works awesome. I know it sounds a bit dodgy, but we're saving $350. It's an 08 Hilux. It's 14 years old. Awesome vehicle, but we don't need to throw an extra $350 at it. That buys, what, 7, 8, 9 slabs of beer or whatever. I'm sure somebody can find something better to do. With the $350, we like to avoid waste. And there may be nothing wrong with it. That's the whole point here. There may be nothing wrong, but we need to monitor the situation here just in case. But it probably could have been the seals were hard. or the valve cover was hard. You know, 14, 15 years old, that's pushing it. That's definitely time to change those seals. Anyway, we've got these dirty old squirters out of the vehicle on the bench, and I thought once again what was the most interesting thing for me is original injectors, not only original injectors at 280k, but once again never been out. So the valve cover had the factory RTV. Again, they could have done a really good job and tricked us, but we're pretty good at this game, and we believe the injectors have never been out. Would you agree? Valve cover never been off on this one? Right, so I'm getting the nod. So, if they've never been out, why don't we have blow-by? And why on some other vehicles do we have, you know, blow-by, the injector seat's leaking? Why don't we have blow-by? And why on some other vehicles do we, we have the injector seats leaking at what? 180k, 220k, 200k? Well, it varies, right? We've said that. Here's one of them. What do you like throwing them at me? What's this, the 5 o'clock throw them at me? Anyway, thanks for cleaning those. So he's just giving a quick clean up so we can have a look at them and do the usual analysis, okay? And this bench here, it's pretty dirty at the moment. We're going to give it a clean up, don't worry about that. We've got dirty old squirters here. We're going to strip one down soon and just free contamination check. Anybody that gets the injectors replaced with us, it's all part of the job, the free contamination check. If you get the injector kit from us, there's some things in the kit that are meant to be a lend, so if you want to keep them, just let me know and we can arrange that as well. But those little red caps, the next guy needs them to cap the common rail just the way you did, or you may not have needed them, but the red caps is mainly what we need. And if you send back all that gear that we've lent you and your old injectors, we do a free contamination check. I don't actually want to do it. Hey, do you want to strip down the injectors for everyone and do the contamination check?
No.
Exactly, me either, right? So he was nodding at me. I was trying to get mate, they can't see you nodding, right? Would you strip down an injector for like one beer, for one Heineken?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So if you want your free contamination check from now on, you better put a Dan Murphy's gift card in. And if everybody puts in $10 and all adds together, every 4 sets of injectors, you can get a slab of Heinekens, 4 or 5 sets, right? And if you're really generous, just put in 20 or 30, or because you can't send the Heinekens, can't do that, especially in bottles. Anyway, let's stop mucking around here and look at these injector seats. That's what we're going to do, okay? Let's try and get them up the right way so that, look at that, look at the condition of that one, how good it is. Right, so you just get really lucky sometimes, and then you look at the next one and look how eroded away that is. You know, so unbelievable, right? So all I'm going to say is possibly it's done some highway Ks, same sort of thing, you know. It is from sort of outback New South Wales, but he's only had it for a couple of years. He did tell me, who did you buy it from? Was it a... Anyway, probably hot. Anyway, you can see eroding away at the top side here, eroding away over on the right side over here, right? And over here on the left side. And this one actually looks good, but we need to flip it over, don't we? Eroding away over this side. Anyway, point is, I don't know. Look, what I believe is the shorter trips, stop-start, vehicles that do towing, a lot of towing, they're the ones that, you know, there's more movement here between the materials, and the shorter trips, the ones at lower Ks, typically they're lower Ks because they've done shorter trips, you know, lower Ks over the same period of time. They've done more towing, this sort of thing. So if you're doing towing and short trips and your vehicle's, you know, 10, 11, 12 years old, you could be at risk of blow-by. But then if you've only 5 years and you've done 200,000 Ks or even 250, you're probably not much at risk of these leaking. So careful message here, because I don't really want to sell too many sets of injectors, to be quite honest. So if you've got a 2013, 14, 15 Prado, or 13, 14, 15 Hilux, and you're doing high Ks, like 50 to 60,000 Ks a year, and you've got to 200,000 and you go, oh, but Anthony reckons I need to replace those injectors because they're done 200k. Well, I'm kind of saying, well, no, we know they're full DLC. We know they're going to last really well. As long as you haven't got the smoke, the noise, and the diagnostic looks okay, I reckon push it out a bit further, because I'm quite confident we're going to get, seeing 280 out of these, I'm quite confident we'd get 250k out of these, as long as it's within the 6 to 7 year, right? You know, that's why we say 7 years, 170. But now we're just stretching it. We're pushing it out a little bit more than what we've said before, because we don't want things getting changed prematurely. Anyway, guys, I think that's a video. Let's go and have a final check over under the bonnet. The job is complete. Waiting for a road test and a final cleanup, but we're going to have a look around. What a beast, eh? Now, one of the things that we're going to keep an eye on, we've got to do a big, on every injector job, big 20k road test, is that back of that valve cover, because I was a little bit suspect on it, right? It's a bit dark in there at the moment. Doesn't matter, you can't see much, but it's all clean, it's all good at the moment. It's been on a short road test, but it still needs the long one. We just sort of got it going. Bit more of a clean up there, because you can see a bit of oil staining, you know, down around there. It takes a couple of washes sometimes to get that off, so I think we will give it a bit more of a wash, because you can see, yeah, the oil stain down there on the exhaust. But it looks like likely it's been a solution by changing the valve cover gasket and those top solenoid seals, right? You can see, you know, the ones that go in around the injector up there, demonstrated earlier in the video. So we're just going to do a final, have a bit of a look around, check ski here, and road test, and it should be good to go. We note this 09, it's already got the long suction control valve. See down there in the shadow, right, the shiny thing. It's already got the long one, so it doesn't need a replacement. We do have those ones on the shelf if anybody wants to just change it for the hell of it, to try it out, you know. We can do that. Just, you know, it's good. A few people have done that to get a bit of feedback, you know, because they just want to do it, just, you know, to eliminate. There has been a couple of people change them and they said, yeah, I reckon it made a bit of difference. I've mentioned that before. Anyway, sorry to bore you. Let's get out of here. Thanks for watching, you know the deal. Smash the like button if you learnt something, and subscribe, turn the bell on if you want to learn more. And like I said, don't rely on the next video to come out. You've got plenty to catch up with, so go and check out what's already there, including what's in those playlists. And bada bing, bada boom, we're out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.